Olivia Hart was one of the most successful CEOs in the city, a woman known for her intelligence, confidence, and sharp business instincts. At only 36 years old, she had built a multi-million-dollar company from the ground up, earning respect from investors, competitors, and employees alike. People admired her success, but many also feared her because she rarely showed emotion and never tolerated weakness. Her schedule was always packed with meetings, business trips, and corporate events. As a result, her personal life had suffered. She had been single for years, convinced that no one was ambitious enough to match her lifestyle. One evening, after months of pressure from her closest friend, Olivia reluctantly agreed to go on a blind date. "You need a life outside of work," her friend Emma told her. "I have a life," Olivia replied. "No, you have meetings." After several days of persuasion, Olivia finally agreed. Emma smiled. "Trust me, you'll like him." "What does he do?" "He's a single father." Olivia immediately frowned. "A single father?" "Yes." "What kind of job does he have?" Emma hesitated. "He runs a small business." Olivia sighed. That answer alone lowered her expectations. Still, she agreed to attend the date. The following Friday evening, Olivia arrived at an elegant restaurant in downtown Manhattan. She wore a designer black dress, diamond earrings, and heels that cost more than some people earned in a month. When she entered the restaurant, she immediately spotted a man sitting near the window. He looked simple. His suit was clean but modest. There were no luxury watches, no expensive jewelry, no signs of wealth. Beside him sat a young girl of about 8 years old, happily coloring in a notebook. Olivia instantly assumed the worst. This must be him. The man stood and smiled warmly. "Olivia." "Yes, I'm Daniel." He extended his hand. She shook it politely. Daniel introduced his daughter. "This is Sophie." "Nice to meet you," Olivia said. Sophie smiled. "Daddy said you're very smart." Olivia forced a smile. The date had barely begun, and she already felt disappointed. After they sat down, Daniel spoke kindly and confidently. He asked about her work, her interests, her travels. Unlike many men she had dated, he listened carefully instead of talking about himself. Still, Olivia could not get past her first impression. She kept noticing his ordinary suit, his simple shoes, his old sedan parked across the street. Everything about him seemed average. Finally, she asked the question she had been waiting to ask. "So, what exactly does your business do?" Daniel smiled. "A little bit of everything." She raised an eyebrow. "That sounds vague." He laughed. "I suppose it does." Olivia interpreted the answer as embarrassment. Maybe his company was struggling. Maybe he was hiding financial problems. Maybe he simply wasn't successful. The more she assumed, the less interested she became. 20 minutes later, she checked her watch. Then her phone. Then her watch again. Daniel noticed. "You seem busy." "I have an important meeting early tomorrow." Daniel nodded. "I understand." Olivia stood. "I'm sorry, but I think I should leave." The disappointment on Sophie's face was immediate. "Oh." Daniel gently touched his daughter's shoulder. "It's okay." Olivia grabbed her purse. "It was nice meeting you." Then she walked away. As she exited the restaurant, she felt relieved. Another failed date. At least she had not wasted too much time. What she didn't know was that she had just made a huge mistake. Inside the restaurant, Sophie looked at her father. "She didn't like us." Daniel smiled softly. "Not everyone is meant to stay in our lives." Sophie nodded sadly. Outside, Olivia walked toward the valet area. At that exact moment, several luxury vehicles arrived together. A Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a McLaren, a Rolls-Royce. People nearby stopped and stared. The cars were breathtaking. Even Olivia paused. The vehicles parked directly in front of the restaurant. Then something unexpected happened. The owners stepped out and immediately entered the restaurant. Curious, Olivia glanced through the window. To her surprise, every single one of them approached Daniel. Not just approached him. They greeted him with enormous respect. One man shook his hand. Another hugged him. A third introduced his wife. A fourth handed him documents. Olivia frowned. What was going on? The group looked more like billionaires meeting a business leader than friends meeting for dinner. Then the valet standing beside her smiled. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" "What? Those cars?" "Yes. They all belong to members of Daniel's executive team. Olivia froze. Executive team? Yeah, Daniel. The valet looked confused. You know him? A little. The valet laughed. Then you know he owns half the companies in this city. Olivia's heart nearly stopped. What? Daniel Carter. The valet pointed toward the restaurant. The founder of Carter Global Holdings. Her eyes widened. She knew that name. Everyone in business knew that name. Carter Global Holdings owned logistics companies, technology firms, hotels, construction businesses, and investment groups across multiple countries. Its estimated value exceeded $10 billion. Its owner was famously private. Almost nobody knew what he looked like. Olivia stared through the glass. The poor single father she had dismissed was actually one of the richest entrepreneurs in America. And she had walked away from him. The realization hit her like a truck. Suddenly, everything made sense. His confidence, his calm demeanor, his lack of need to impress anyone. He hadn't dressed to show off. He had dressed to be comfortable. The next morning, Olivia couldn't stop thinking about Daniel. For the first time in years, she felt embarrassed. Not because she had met a billionaire. Because she had judged someone without knowing them. She had assumed his value based on appearance alone. Throughout the day, she replayed every moment. Every word, every expression, every missed opportunity. Finally, she called Emma. You knew, didn't you? Knew what? Daniel. Emma laughed. Ah, you knew who he was. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Because he asked me not to. Olivia sighed. Why? Because he wanted someone to like him for who he is. The words hit hard. Olivia suddenly understood. Daniel had been testing nothing. He simply wanted authenticity. And she had failed. Days passed. Then weeks. Yet she couldn't forget him. Eventually, fate intervened. A major business conference brought together hundreds of executives from around the world. Olivia attended as a keynote speaker. So did Daniel. When she entered the conference hall, she immediately saw him standing near the stage. Surrounded by investors, executives, politicians, industry leaders. Yet despite all the attention, he seemed exactly the same as before. Calm, kind, grounded. Their eyes met. Daniel smiled politely. Nothing more. No resentment. No bitterness. Just kindness. That somehow made Olivia feel even worse. Later that afternoon, she gathered enough courage to approach him. Daniel. Olivia. Can we talk? Of course. They walked onto a quiet balcony overlooking the city skyline. For a moment neither spoke. Finally Olivia broke the silence. I owe you an apology. Daniel listened. I judged you. She looked down. I assumed things about you that weren't true. Daniel nodded. You did. I'm sorry. The wind moved gently around them. After several seconds, Daniel smiled. Apology accepted. That's it. What else should there be? You're not angry. No. Why? Daniel looked toward the city. Because everyone judges people sometimes. Olivia felt tears forming. But I was wrong. Yes. His honesty stung. Yet she appreciated it. Daniel continued. You know what hurt the most? What? Sophie. Olivia's heart sank. She was excited to meet you. Guilt flooded through her. I'm sorry. She thought maybe she'd made a new friend. Olivia wiped her eyes. I never meant to hurt her. I know. For the first time, Daniel saw genuine regret in her expression. Not embarrassment. Not pride. Regret. Weeks later, Daniel invited Olivia to lunch. Not because he was interested in revenge. Not because he was impressed by her apology. But because he believed people deserved second chances. This time things were different. Olivia listened. Really listened. She learned about his childhood. His struggles. His late wife. The challenges of raising Sophie alone. The loneliness he often felt despite his success. She discovered that behind the billionaire image was a man who valued family more than money. A man who spent weekends coaching children's soccer teams. A man who secretly funded hospitals and schools. A man who never talked about his charity work publicly. Slowly, friendship developed. Then trust. Then something deeper. Months later, Olivia found herself sitting in Daniel's backyard while Sophie laughed nearby. The setting sun painted the sky with shades of gold and orange. Daniel sat beside her. Funny, isn't it? What? The first time we met, you couldn't wait to leave. Olivia laughed. I know. And now, she smiled. Now I wish I'd stayed longer. Daniel looked at her. Me too. Their relationship grew naturally after that. No games. No assumptions. No pretenses. Only honesty. A year later, during a family gathering surrounded by friends and loved ones, Daniel proposed. Sophie helped him. She proudly carried the ring. Tears filled Olivia's eyes as she said yes. The guests cheered. Sophie hugged them both. At that moment, Olivia realized something important. The greatest mistake of her life had almost cost her the greatest blessing of her life. She had nearly walked away from an extraordinary man because she judged him by appearances. Fortunately, life had given her another chance. And this time she was wise enough not to waste it. Because true wealth is not measured by supercars, luxury watches, or billion-dollar companies. True wealth is measured by character, kindness, loyalty, and love. The supercars outside the restaurant had been impressive, but they were never Daniel's greatest asset. His greatest asset was the heart he carried inside him. And in the end, that was worth far more than everything else combined.